Welcome back to another video. My name is Henrik and today we're going to be looking at the Opel Mokka-e, the full electric variant of the Mokka or the Vauxhall Mokka-e. Both of those are basically the same car, just a different company, which is also the same company theoretically. This car is going to be starting at a fairly decent price at 40,800 euros. Decent, I mean fairly expensive. 42,000 if you want to get the GS variant, so a little bit more than that, 42,800, and then you have the Ultimate with the new battery pack, which has 54 kilowatts an hour battery. That's going to cost you 44,220. Our vehicle right here is going to set you back 45,220, which is the Elegance or the GS variant without the bigger battery, so 50 kilowatts an hour battery. Let's take a look at everything that this car offers. So let's get right into it. First of all, we're going to look at the lights on the outside, which are gonna get the matrix lights, which is very nice. These come with the Tech GS package, so 1,700 euros extra for this. You get side assist, you get a lot of safety features, for instance, rear view camera, almost like a 360-degree camera, and a lot of other stuff. You can see the Opel is also, or the Mokka was the first car that got the new front design language from Opel, with this kind of black design in here, which you now also see on the Astra or most of the new Opel models. Down here we have a big grille, well not a big grille, but a little bit of a bigger grille down here with a little bit more of an intake up here, which looks pretty cool in general. Pretty cool color as well with the iconic green color, which is going to cost you 600 euros extra if you get the GS variant. The Ultimate Edition is going to have that as standard. Let's first of all talk about the dimensions of the car. This car is going to be 4.15 meters long. It's going to be 1.79 meters wide without the side mirrors, and also 1.53 meters tall. That is fairly compact. It is a crossover SUV and a fairly compact one. It's definitely a little bit smaller than competitors. For instance, you also got an ID.3, which is a competitor, with this subventions, or how do you say that, like the amount of money that they grant you now if you buy the electric variant, so the ID.3. It's going to be a little bit cheaper, 36,000 as a starting price, or 39,000 compared to this one, and it gets a little bit of a bigger battery. But this car still offers quite a lot, and we'll see a little bit more once we're driving. Down here we also have, with the GS model, we get fully blacked out rims, which look very nice. These are 17-inch rim wheels, and this is also the first car which is now with summer tires that we've had this year, which is nice. Black touches down here. You get this in black as well. Standard-wise with the Elegance package, that would be in chrome. You can opt to also get a black roof and also a black, like carbon fake bonnet, which is nice. So this looks pretty cool. A pillar down here, A, B, and C pillar all in black. Apart from like the front of the A pillar, that would also be black if you opt for the roof in black. Tinted rear windows. You don't have keyless go, which is a little bit unfortunate. And give me the key for a second, because you have the key. Come on. Thank you, viewers. That was very appreciated. If you open the car, this is going to open, but in the back, that's not going to open. So you're going to have to press it again, which is a little bit unfortunate. But I think there's actually a button in the interior where you can actually change that so it opens automatically. Down here, black touches down there as well. And up here we can charge it. We'll talk a little bit more about that once we're doing our charging test. Actually, let's do a charging test right now. You are able to charge it with a max speed of 100 kilowatts, and that's supposed to get you from 10 to 80 in around 26.5 minutes. What we were able to get, we started at around 19% and we went up to around 79%. We loaded a total of 29.81 kilowatts, and that took us a total of 32 minutes. The max speed that we had was 82.2 kilowatts, which is not bad. And you can see the curve slowly went down, but fairly stagnant, so a fairly constant value. With an average consumption, or not consumption, but charging speed of 54.8. Not too bad, but also not too great. So if you are taking this over long distance, definitely take into consideration you might be charging this car for around 35 minutes, which is quite a lot. For the design in the back, in my opinion, it looks pretty good with the green color especially. Love the color. 600 euros extra if you get it with the GS variant. Pretty cool design up here with a little bit of a spoiler. Pretty big rear window with the lights. We have the Opel logo in complete black, the Mokka logo in black, and then we have this kind of hard plastic down here with some piano black down there as well. One thing that you will notice is you might think, okay, this is where I open the trunk. That is not it. You actually have to press down here, or you can also hold down the button on the on your key fob, and then you can open it via this way. In here we have 310 liters up to 1,060 liters, which is okay for the size. Not the biggest, not the smallest, fairly big. You have a big load in here, and I think you can also get an extra We have a false floor in there, so you can theoretically plop that in there if you want that. Quality in the interior in the back definitely loses a little bit of touch. If you look on the side, we did a close-up of it, but everything is hard plastic. There's not a single thing that's not hard plastic apart from the door handle. In the front, you still get a little bit of carbon, like fake carbon touches. You get a little bit of like fake leather, but in here you really all get all of it on plastic. Seat space-wise, it's okay for a crossover SUV. Legroom could be a little bit better, but still not that bad. But you really don't get your thighs on the back, which is not that nice. Headroom is plenty, which is nice. Seats are also fairly comfortable. You don't have center console in here as well, so you can't fold anything over. And you do also have 2 USB ports in there, so no USB-Cs, but those are both going to charge your phone if you want to do that. But seriously, quality in the back could be a little bit better, especially for this price. So let's talk about the interior quick before we start. We can see we have a little bit of carbon touches. We have like a leather inlet here. So quality is not that bad, but also not that great for 40,000 euros. You gotta keep in mind you're paying 40,000 euros without the subventions that you get nowadays, or you used to get before the start of the new year. So yeah, we gotta hold down the button a little bit longer to start the engine. We have a nice little infotainment display in here with a bigger steering wheel. The steering wheel is surprisingly big for a small compact car, I think. Feels a little bit big in my opinion. Nice little display in there, and you can also have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto if you connect it via USB. You could theoretically have heated seats and heated steering wheel as well. That is an option for I think 500 euros. We have a climate control in here, so 2-zone climate control. Display in here with the optional navigation display as well. This is going to cost you I think 500 euros as well to get the navigation in there. Quite a lot as well. Sound system not that bad. Piano black down here, so quite a lot of it, which is not that great as well. Drive modes, obviously good, and a very, very small storage space in there. Look at that. It's very deep. I can't even touch the bottom, but it's very small. So let's drive the car. We have the drive mode select. We also have B in there, so a little bit of functionality. Automatic parking brake as well. In my opinion, one of the things the first thing I noticed when I stepped into this car is how small the front screen is. Like the windscreen is really, really small, so it's kind of hard to look out at it sometimes. And very bumpy roads here. So surrounding view is not too great, especially if you're looking out of the front. The bonnet is a little bit high, and especially the front screen is just so small. But other than that, the driving capabilities of this car is fairly relaxed. It's fairly functional. It's nothing special. It's an electric car that's supposed to get you from A to B, especially in the city, and that's what it does. It is really comfortable when driving this in the city and at normal speed. The way that the electric motor obviously does it with any other car as well is it's quiet. It's has the punch if you want to get it started straight away. I can't see anything out the right. Well, the front is also a little bit high. Yeah, the seating position is also a little bit funky. On the left here you have the space where you can put your feet, but you're sitting very, I don't know, a little bit low, but then sometimes it feels a little bit high, a little bit too much forward, but then a little bit too far backwards. It's really weird. I don't know. It's definitely better than a Peugeot because you don't have the heads-up display in the front. Well, not heads-up display, but you don't have that big digital cockpit in the front, which is like at this height. So it's a little bit nicer this way, but still, it's a little bit funky trying to find the seating position. Like I said, surrounding view is interesting because of that small windscreen. You have a fairly big A-pillar as well, and then the surrounding view is not that great because you have a huge C-pillar as well. Yeah, well, there's another Mokka, but that is not an electric variant. While we're talking about electric variant, let's talk about the battery. So we do have a 50 kilowatts an hour battery in here with 136 horsepower, which is the smallest variant with 260 Newton meters. One thing that you could theoretically get with the updated version of 2023, you get that 54 kilowatts an hour battery, which is supposed to get you 60 kilometers of range more. We are currently at around 331 with this model. The GS model actually gets, I think, 10 kilometers more than the Elegance model. I don't know exactly why that is the case, but it does. So 400 kilometers of range if you get the new Ultimate variant with a 54 kilowatts an hour battery. The consumption that we have, well, we're currently at 40% left, and we have 134 kilometers of range left, which is fairly decent, I'd say. Claimed is the 332, 31, something right around there in that range. But the consumption here is fabulous. If you're driving this in the city, you are going to be looking at around 6 to 8 kilowatts. That is, or kilowatts an hour. That is what I've been averaging, which is really, really great. One of the lowest we've had. And then if you're driving at around 100, 110, you're going to be looking at 12.5 up to 14.5. WLTP claims 14 or 15.8 combined. But from driving in the city, I've been driving in the city this car the whole time, and I have gotten a very, very good range out of it. So especially, or up to 400 kilometers of range, something right around there, which is really, really nice. Cornering capabilities of this car is okay. It's nothing special. It's a fairly, well, it's just a city car. But you can definitely feel the weight. It's around 1.58 tons. Heavy for such a car. It's because of the electric motor, 400 kilograms more than what you would be getting if you just get the normal petrol variant. If you're looking to drive this car a little bit more sporty, you do have the GS variant, which obviously is supposed to be a little bit more sporty, but it's just the exterior. It's not going to change anything in the interior. You do have different drive modes, which will allow you to drive a little bit more sporty. And in one review, I did read that you get different horsepower depending on which mode you're in. I'm not too sure if that's correct because I haven't really felt a difference. Once we're doing a 0 to 100 test, we'll definitely have to check if in the eco mode it's slower than, for instance, the sport mode, because it said in the eco mode you only get around 70 horsepower, and in the full sport mode you get the full 136 horsepower. I'm not too sure about that. Assistant feature wise, you get quite a good amount. You get side or blind spot assistance, you get front traffic assistance, you get for your parking assistance. You also have a fake 360-degree camera. We'll look at that in a second. So here you can see the camera quality-wise, it's not that great. You can change it a little bit. So you have the standard view, which we just looked at. We have 180, so a little bit of a wide view camera. And the zoom, which is especially nice if you're in the reverse mode, that's going to give you like this top down. And you can see that's what I mean by not full 360-degree camera. It's more of a fake one where it gives you, it overlays while you're driving over it. And now you can see what's in front of us. And if you put it into front, we can see it doesn't do what I thought it would. But yeah. And we also have the beeping in there. So if you put that on and now we put it, or now we have it off, it should beep. Okay, that's awkward because the person now to my right is just getting outside, and probably that's her car, and she's wondering what the hell am I doing with her car. I'm bumping it from behind. So quickly, let's get away from here. Turning radius of this car is also 11 meters, which is quite a lot. Would have expected a little bit more for such a compact car. NCAP norm of this car is also okay. You're looking at around, what was it, person assist, so if somebody's walking across, around 58%, I think it was. And safety for people inside, 63, something around there?
75.
75, so actually fairly decent. You don't have a knee air support, but one thing you do have is the biggest, open that thing for me, the glove box. Look at how far that thing goes in. That is insane. You can probably fit a whole 2-story house in there. That thing is insanely big. But yeah, driving over a little bit more bumps, you can definitely feel each bump, but it does, the suspension is not the worst. Like it does smoothen the ride a little bit, especially here. So fairly comfortable to drive in the city. And this car, there's the only thing you want to do with this car is basically drive in the city. But if for that price, if that's the only thing you want, that's fairly expensive. But monthly leasing rates, or like if you want to rent the car, it's okay. They actually have some fairly good prices in there. So if you don't want to buy the car, but you want to lease it, it's definitely a lot of a more attractive option. Why is it so busy? Oh, you want to get an ice cream? No? Okay. So for the 0 to 100 test, let's go into a spurt mode. And let's put our foot on the brake and let's see how fast we can go. Kick is not really there, but 4.82 for the 0 to 60 and 0 to 100 in 10.25. Ooh, what was your best value? 9.6 something?
9.7.
9.7. So the 156 horsepower model is claimed in a total of 9.2 seconds. So this one only has a 136, but still not the greatest value. It's not what the car is meant for, but we're still going to do one more just to see where we get on our way back. Let's not do our foot on the brake, we're just going to do a straight kick. Okay, I felt a little bit worse. It was totally better, jeez. and we got 9.66. Yeah, okay, nice. So 9.6, not the worst value, not the best value, but 436 horsepower, completely fine in my opinion. So what is my final verdict? Well, there is a couple of things you gotta take into consideration. Competitors, you got the Volkswagen ID.3, you have a Hyundai Kona, you have a lot of things that are gonna have a little bit more of a battery size and give you a little bit more range. This car came out in 2021, so therefore since then a couple of new variants have come out with more battery capacity, and that is why the Ultimate has also gotten the update, so you get that 54 kilowatts an hour battery to get up to those 400 kilometers, which is a fairly decent value. But still, the price is a little bit high. Opel didn't do something like Volkswagen where they decreased by 10,000 euros their cars, so this is kind of on the top range for the prices now, which is fairly high. In general, a very nice car for the city, but with that price a little bit too expensive. So if you want to get one used, I think that would be a better option, or if you want to get a newer car, a Volkswagen ID.3 or something like that might be a better option for you. Really depends on what you want and what you like when it comes to this style. So hopefully you guys did enjoy. We'll see you next time. Make sure to like and subscribe. Bye bye.